Today was one of those Today was one of those days where things didn't go perfectly, but the execution mattered way more than the outcome, right? So the first trade I took was clean. Price pulled back. It retested the area of interest that I was looking at. Momentum even slowed down at the area, but price just didn't hold, right? And the second trade was much different. I actually made an entry mistake here. The zone that I drew was way too tight, and instead of panicking, what price actually came to that area and started to reject and go into the buy direction. Since I missed it on the 5 minute, I waited for it to break on the 1 minute and then re-enter off of the retest on the 1 minute to actually save the trade. Now, that wasn't a perfect trade whatsoever, but it actually saved it. And what I'm starting to realize is consistency doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from how you manage things when they aren't perfect. And real quick, if you're working on this too, tracking area of interest, structures, entry mistakes, exits, emotions, all of it, the Notion Trainer Journal I use every day is what helps me actually catch these patterns and actually improve instead of just guessing. The link is pinned in the comments if you want to use it. Don't just straight structure, build the process. Okay, let me show you exactly how today played out and what I was actually seeing in real time. All right, you guys, I just got in on two micro contracts on gold right here. Overall, we're looking at a 1 to 4.65 risk to reward. So let me break down the trade and how we even got here, right? So daily, we're extremely bullish. Price even broke structure as well. It broke that recent high we were looking at last week. Let's drop down to the 4 hour. So the 4 hour it actually broke out of this this zone here, broke this high. So now it's actually sitting at the top right here, and we're trying to take advantage of it, right? So let's see. From the 1 hour, 1 hour is actually extremely they had this huge impulse right here. So price ended up breaking structure and just pushed, right? So straight push through zone after zone after zone. So it broke here, here. Let me change this to a breaker structure. And then also on the 30 minute, right? So price on the 30 minute, let me just break down what ended up happening. So price broke structure here, created another impulse, pulled back, slightly retested that 4 hour zone right here, and end up creating a W pattern and actually broke structure right here. So now price is actually pulling back. So I dropped down to the 15 minute. 15 minute pretty much just looks the same as the 30 for the most part. Oh, no, I'm gonna leave it as that. So, all right, we got some pullback going on. All right, so now we're on the 5 minute, right? And let me break down what was actually a little bit confusing earlier. So, all right, just looking at structure, price ended up breaking structure right here, right? So what confused me earlier on was it broke so many structures, I didn't know where it was going to confidently pull back to, right? So based off of the way I trade based off of structure, based off the time frame that I'm trading from, right? So this was the first structure that it broke, so I was expecting price to pull back to this structure and then go for its buy, right? But so it created this little minor zone, and I don't know if I would consider this 1 minute or the 5 minute, but it didn't pull back to anything, right? So it kept pushing. So I consider all of this the impulse, but in terms of the pullback, so I didn't know if it was going to pull back to this 30-minute zone that was broken here, right here, or my actual 5 minute zone. But my my go-to strategy is pretty much just wait till it comes back to your structure zone that was broken, right? So I end up waiting patiently, very patiently. I thought price may have been playing off of this, but this huge candle broke straight through it. It ended up coming back to my zone and created a huge wick at the zone. So it also hit my 61.8 fib level. So everything just lined up to where it was just like, all right, this is going to play out at the zone that I expected it to. So I got in with 2 micro contracts. So my zones that I'm taking out right here are at my 0 and my negative 27.86. Those are my targets. If I was able to put on a 3rd contract, it would have been at this negative 61.8, but based off of the risk that I had to put on, this was a little bit wider stop. It was 75 tick stop, so I just had to go with 2 contracts just to align with my rules and how much I'm risking, because I typically just risk 150 a trade. Just in case, okay, this trade doesn't work out. Let's say it wants to pull all the way down to this zone right here and then react to it and go for its buy. Cool. I got my max risk is 300 for the day. So my typical rules that I try to stick to are either 1 and I'm done. If I get 1 win, I'm done for the day. If I lose twice, I'm also done for the day as well, right? And also, hold on. It looks. Oh, got stopped out. So that's why I was pretty strict with everything, with my stop loss. So we're down 150 for the day. Let's see what ends up happening and see if price actually holds at our TP3 down here. So we're going to see. But yeah. So max for the day, just to get back to what I was saying, max for the day, I get 2 bullets. If I lose, pretty much if I lose once, I take another trade. If I lose that one, I'm done for the day. And I have a max loss of 300 per day. And we just rock off of that. If it doesn't break the structure here and reacts to this zone and gives me a buy, this is going to be a huge day. But I'm not forcing everything. This actually was a valid trade setup. I had it retested my zone that I expected it to retest, and it gave me a bearish variation, hit my fib level, so I can't complain, right? Everything just aligned perfectly for that zone, so it is what it is. That's why I don't really trip. I just stick to my plan. And now we're gonna see if this lines up. Now, if it breaks structure here, we'll be looking at sales for the day. But I'm not forcing anything, right? But this could be potentially be a huge setup if it reacts from this zone, and I can get 3 micro contracts off of it. This could be a huge day, because I'm gonna try to take all 3 TPs based off of what the market just gives me for the day. But we're gonna see. All right, you guys, I made a mistake, and hopefully I saved myself, right? So again, I'm in on 2 contracts, right? And let me explain what happened. So I didn't properly cover the right zone here. It should have been right here, right? My zone should have been right here. I pulled it all the way down here. So I had my zone misplaced, and price came right here and pretty much flew. It reacted off my 78.6 level, created a divergence here, and created a divergence, turn around, had an engulfing candle, and pretty much flew. So while I was looking away, I realized, okay, I messed up, and let me see how I can recover. So this is what I did to actually save the trade, which it seems like it worked out. And this is why I always preach structure, bro. So what I did to save this trade to still be able to get back in it, That way I can be a part of the move, right? So price end up breaking structure right here, right on the 1 minute. Whenever price breaks structure, it still has to retest. So I waited for price to retest this zone on the 1 minute and got in instantly as soon as it touched it, right? I wasn't gonna wait to see when it broke or anything like that. As soon as it touched this zone, I was in. So I got back in on 2 contracts. It was actually 3 originally, but I was spending way more than I wanted to for the day on the trade. So I got in 2 contracts. My total risk is about 200, and now we're in a winning trade so far. So what I'm going to still do is the same plan as earlier. It's okay. I'm getting out 1 contract out at 0, 2nd contract out negative 27.86. But overall, this is looking really, really good. And let me drag this over here so y'all can really actually see everything that's going on. So potentially, if I held both contracts to 744, we could make, oh yeah, to the full TP we can make 744. So we're gonna make a little bit less than that. But it's still going to be a very beautiful day, and I'll make more than I lost on that first trade. This trade is probably going to take a little bit of time to play out, but honestly, I wish I was way more aggressive on this trade. But I'm just trying to, right now, in my journey, I'm really just trying to take base hits to get to where, get consistent in my process. But the old me would have been so much more aggressive on this setup. So, so like I was telling y'all about, when it comes to structure is always within structure. So once price showed me, hey, I'm going this direction, there was a huge, pretty sizable pullback, right? And it pulled back to this demand zone here and ended up going back in the buy direction. And it's just like, I would have got in back in the day. I would have got in right here. It broke structure, pulled back into this zone. I would have got in again right here again. So it's just like, that's why I have to like walk away with a lot of my trades that I'm taking these days, because I know I would get in off of every pullback once I'm extremely confident in my setup. And what I want to do eventually is to get back to that in some facet, but I gotta build a buffer. I gotta pretty much get a buffer behind me to take more risk, right? But in the past, I've been very risk on, and it's always end up biting me in the butt because I don't know how to stop, right? So it's once I believe I'm right, I'm right. Like, there's no going behind it. I am all in. Push the chips up. Let's go. And it's just like, that will work. But you got to understand when and when not to do it, because that kills you over time, right? Especially when you're building, because it's at the end of the day, you still got to have a long-term vision. Like, yeah, you're able to take the big swings and whatnot when those moments are available, but it's like, you in between time, again, I told y'all this before, you got to pretty much take the base hits. There's nothing wrong with taking base hits. For instance, if this price rejects at all around this area, I ain't exiting the trade. But my biggest thing is really just like, I'll load up on my entry. Once I feel like I'm at the low, you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me nothing. But again, I'm working on really just chilling, getting consistency with my process, making sure that I have more capital in terms of risk behind me, so I can take those big swings, right? Right now, it's proof of concept. even though I know it works, it's more so just like showing up and doing what you believe actually works. So yeah, but stuff like that, I just gotta walk away. Like again, I had to walk away with this trade because it's just like, bro, I could make so much money off of this setup right here, but I have to just chill right now. I just need to get up, pass this combine, get a buffer behind me, and then I can start loading up a little bit more like I want to. But at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with really just taking your time, right? But what I'm gonna do, go ahead and move my stop loss to break even, because since it broke this little micro high right here, if it breaks below this structure, it's not going to be anything good, and there's no point in me taking any losses at this point, right? Price is almost at TP. Like, what are we doing? Well, TP1, like it makes no sense, right? So, and from there, I'm actually gonna bring it to closer structure. Since it's so close to my TP, and from there we're just watching things like a hawk, because if there's any rejection at this level, I'm getting out of the trade completely. I need it to break this level. Price is bullish. I need to act like it's bullish and get to where I need it to go. But everything's looking good overall. We're just waiting for price to hit this TP. I swear, so this is why I do what I do, because it's like I hate when price plays around like key levels, and it's just like, bro, if you're gonna go in that direction, go in that direction. Like, go ahead and break structure, give me my money, and get to the next TP. But you gotta be patient. But if it breaks this candle, I don't trust that. I don't like any like big rejections around these zones. So I'm okay with it tagging me out and being done with the day if it goes like that. So it could potentially pull back to this level and go into that this big buy. All right, it tagged me out. All right. So for total, we up 237 for the day. It is what it is. We had a potential beautiful big push, but things didn't pan out. I'm not fond of things rejecting around the highs like that. I'd rather take my money and be okay with it. It's cool. What I wish I could have done better was actually take on more risk at these levels, and I really wouldn't have cared. But that'll be more in the future. I just want to take my base hits right now, and I'll be all right for the most part. But the biggest upset today for me was actually not drawing up this zone correctly. I drew it up right here, and it was actually supposed to be around this level right here. I don't like how I handled that, and that's a mistake that I have to work on in the future. But it is what it is. Other than that, we got a win for the day. Can't complain about that. And we made back the money from that last loss. So we ended up in the green today, which is beautiful. I wish price wouldn't have rejected around this level, but it is what it is. Yeah, that's all I got, you guys. So I'll catch you all tomorrow. Peace.